KUAM TV, 65 years of firsts on Guam.
KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson, celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus Hyundai, home of the Kona electric vehicle, an electric heart with an SUV soul. Test drive yours today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm Lovin' It, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on primetime, feds approve Guam's child tax credit plan. Plus, golf carts procured with the governor's emergency powers is being appealed by the losing bidder. And a 65-year-old man is the island's 144th COVID-related fatality.
Hafa and good evening, everyone. Guam's advanced child tax credit plan has been approved for some $93.5 million by the IRS and the U.S. Treasury. This will not only provide some much-needed financial relief to tens of thousands of local households, but also to Gov Guam, which will no longer have to shoulder the costs. Revenue Tax Director Daphne Shimizu made the announcement during the budget session at the legislature.
Our child tax credit plan, in particular, of course, the plan which allows for the advance payment of the child tax credit, 50% of it was approved. Of course, this has been something that has been discussed, and now we're very excited to say that there's some level of certainty in terms of an actual amount as the body works to discuss the budget.
The American Rescue Plan, signed into law in March by President Biden, expanded the child tax credit from $2,000 per child to $3,600 for those under age 6. For those ages 6 to 16, it increased it from $2,000 to $3,600. Shimizu says the advance credit will be paid automatically in equal monthly installments.
The $93.53 million represents the entire 100% of the CTC that is expected to be paid out, of which 50% will be paid out as an advance unless people opt out, and that 50% will be paid out as an advance before the end of December 31, 2021.
Shimizu says they are working to pay out the first installment as soon as possible. The funds will be transferred into an account specifically to pay the CTC.
Of course, we do work with the Department of Administration and the Treasurer to make sure that there's a trust fund that's set up. The trust fund is actually a requirement, so we do have to actually have a trust fund. That is part of what we have to abide by in terms of our plan.
DRT will also receive $300,000 to cover administrative expenses. Also announced today, the $30 million in funding for the All Rise program is now available to Revenue Tax from American Rescue Plan funds. And Director Shimizu says they still plan to have applications available by September 1st. But unlike the original RISE Act, applicants will have to self-certify that they suffered some kind of negative economic impact from the pandemic. Shimizu says she sought legal counsel's clarification.
Some examples that were provided were loss of revenue, loss of income, loss of employment, housing insecurity, food insecurity. Of course, it could be subjective, right? And there are people who, may have continued to be employed, but perhaps may have had some other type of economic impact or some other type of impact that was negative on their household.
DRT will provide an FAQ to further guide taxpayers. Meanwhile, Shimizu says to be fair throughout the first-in, first-out application process, they will only accept online and in-person applications.
We're not going to be accepting them by Dropbox, or by email. And this is the first time that we have a program where we're really restricting the mechanism for submission. And again, because we really want to be as fair as possible.
Once again, the All Rise application should be available by September 1st. The governor's office used emergency powers to buy golf courts from local company AutoSpot in June of this year. But now the entire procurement is being appealed by a losing bidder who says buying the golf carts was an abuse of emergency procurement. Here's more with Chris Barnett.
Guahan Turfco teeing off on the General Services Agency, with Turfco appealing the so-called emergency procurement of golf carts awarded to Guam AutoSpot in June of this year. The agency report from GSA shows that on June 14th, GSA issued a request for, quote, seeking golf carts. GSA setting a June 17, 5 p.m. deadline for, quote, submissions. There was no delivery date included in the RFQ. Instead, GSA informed bidders on June 14th that the preferred ETA of golf carts was 30 days from the date of the purchase order award. Now, we'll come back to that later. 3 companies responded to the RFQ: Turfco, Royal Pacific Motors, and Guam Autospot. Now, according to its appeal, Turfco prepared its quote for golf carts anticipating the 30-day delivery timeline GSA laid out in its original RFQ. However, on June 16th at 5:43 p.m., after working hours and a day before submissions were due, GSA sent an email to the companies changing the parameters of the request, writing, quote, please note that this is an emergency procurement and delivery required is immediate. On June 22nd, Turfco requested information on which company was awarded the PO for golf carts, and even though those docs show Turfco was the lowest bidder, GSA instead awarded Guam Autospot. GSA informed Turfco that Autospot was selected because they could deliver the golf carts immediately, a change made by GSA the day before quotes were due and after all offerers had prepared their bids. Documents show only Autospot's quote said it could deliver carts immediately. GSA denied Turfco's appeal, and a notice to appeal was filed with the Office of the Public Auditor on July 9th. Autospot sold 6 golf carts to the governor's office on July 2nd for $73,970. In Turfco's appeal, Counsel Josh Walsh questioned why golf carts needed for vaccination clinics would be directed to the governor's office when Adelup has no procuring authority. Walsh argues, quote, altering bid specs just hours before the end of the bid invitation period and after confirming a 30-day delivery period and after all parties prepared their bids calls into serious question the fairness of the procurement. He added that GSA's after business hours change to the specs served to, quote, guarantee an award to Autospot. Walsh also questioned whether or not emergency procurement was needed, saying GSA provided no legal or factual reason why 15 months after the first COVID emergency declaration, they needed to conduct this emergency procurement for golf carts after deciding a normal procurement with a normal delivery time frame was a mistake. GSA said it needed the 6 golf carts to transport elderly and disabled at vaccination sites, but Walsh countered that an emergency wasn't justified because Gov Guam had already spent 6 months vaccinating senior citizens. Turfco's appeal hearing is scheduled for September 16th. Meanwhile, GSA docs submitted to the Guam legislature show GSA purchased $330,000 in ATVs and SUVs from Autospot in June and August of 2020 using emergency procurement and sole source purchases. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Several senators took one last shot today at extracting details from Adelup's fiscal team about the governor's ARP spending plan. Budget Director Lester Carlson did announce that they gave $15 million to GPA to hold down a rate increase, along with the $30 million for the All Rise program. But otherwise, the governor's representatives had little else to disclose, as this exchange between Senator Frank Bloss Jr. and Administration Director Ed Byrne illustrates.
So now we know that there's at least $15 million going to be spent from ARP to, what else are we going to use ARP money for?
I think we already answered that, Senator.
No, we asked the question, yeah, we answered, and the way the answer is we can't say anything about it. Now it's being told. You gave the administration opened the door to the question now, and I'd like to be able to have an answer.
That certain decisions have been made, those which Mr. Carlson announced this morning. I'm not aware that any other decisions have been made.
So we still don't know how the $600 million is going to play into the fiscal needs for the government over the next, the needs for the government over the next fiscal year.
That's your 2 questions, Senator Bloss. Okay?
I'm waiting for the answer.
I thought I just did answer it, Senator.
My question was very specific. What else are we going to use the money for?
The use of this fund is being considered.
What are some of the, that's just a follow-up to the question, what's the considerations? What are the considerations?
I don't know, Senator. It's being considered.
The budget session continues tomorrow. Many senators have complained that they need to know how the governor plans to spend the ARP money so they can incorporate that into budget deliberations. Adelup has said they have all the information they need to pass a spending plan. The governor has said she'll consider providing ARP money to agencies who do wind up with an operational shortfall. The Joint Information Center delivered the somber news last night that Guam recorded its 144th COVID-related fatality. He was a 65-year-old man with underlying health conditions who was pronounced dead on arrival at the Naval Hospital. According to the JIC, he did not have any verifiable record of being vaccinated. The man had tested positive for COVID-19 on August the 9th. Meanwhile, Guam recorded 63 new COVID cases from 1,080 samples run on Monday. The JIC reported that 11 of those cases were identified through contact tracing. As of last night's report, 14 people remain hospitalized, with 2 receiving ICU level of care. The CAR score is now 9.5. And the Department of Education is reassuring the community that it's doing what it can to prevent the spread of coronavirus at all 41 school campuses. The Joint Information Center reported Tuesday that 1 GDOE employee and 3 additional students tested positive for COVID-19. KUAM News has also confirmed that a student at Okudo High School has tested positive for the virus. That brings the total number of active student cases to 10. Superintendent John Fernandez explains that many measures are in place to mitigate the spread of COVID within the schools.
That we're relying on face masks or we're relying on the hand sanitizers to do the job. What we're doing is implementing all the recommendations that CDC has put forward and doing it so that we have a layered network of safety measures in place.
For more information, you can email info@gdoe.net. Long lines could be seen at the Tizan testing site today as 500 people were tested for COVID-19. According to Margarita Gay, Public Health's Deputy Resource Command, as of now, testing hours will remain the same at the site. She says close to 700 people have been tested this week. Those waiting for their results can download the PCR form at dphss.guam.gov. There was another school lockdown this morning, this time at Jose Rios Middle School. According to GDOE Interim Public Information Officer Michelle Franquez, an upset student prompted school administrators to lock down the campus at around 10:30 a.m. Police were called and took the student into custody. The lockdown was lifted about 20 minutes later. And the Guam Police Department's Criminal Investigation Division is currently investigating a shooting that took place this morning at around 10:30 a.m. at a residence along Tranquilo Street in Harmon. According to a release, a man had sustained a gunshot wound and is being treated at a hospital. We'll have more details as they become available. The Guam Police Department's Highway Patrol was activated to investigate an auto pedestrian incident that occurred around 6 this morning along Route 16 near the 7-Day Supermarket. According to police spokesman Paul Tapao, a Toyota Tacoma was traveling on the inner southbound lane when it struck a woman who was walking along the road. She was rushed to Guam Regional Medical City to be treated for serious injuries. No word as of news time on her current condition. And 37-year-old drug defendant Andrew Manabusan was arraigned in district court this morning. He pled not guilty to conspiracy to distribute 50 or more grams of methamphetamine. Manabusan was recently extradited to Guam from California, where he allegedly mailed a package that contained more than 3,600 gross grams of meth that was received by former police officer and former Department of Corrections officer Jose Ananich. The court also granted a request to unseal the indictment and will continue the discussion of Manabusan's release from detention on Friday. A trial is currently set for October 26. We're going to take a short break and be back with more news right after this.
KUAM News, in partnership with the Guam Visitors Bureau, brings you the Guam Safe and WTTC Safe Travel Certified Program Showcase. Look out for this powerful symbol for visitors, island residents, and industry workers alike, as it represents establishments with a consistent global commitment to safety practices. Stamped with approval by the Guam Visitors Bureau and the World Travel Tourism Council. Every Monday on KUAM News will feature a different local business who's taken the Safe Guam and Safe Travels pledge to maintain health and safety standards to get Guam back on track. Log on to visitguam.com to see how your business can receive the designation, what businesses in our community are Guam Safe certified, and have the WTTC Safe Travel certified.
Social distancing may be the new norm, but connection will always be our tradition. Through good times and tough times, we remain connected with you. Masks may be the new fashion, but protection will always be our style. You can always count on us to protect the things that matter the most. Sanitizing may be the new routine, but caring will always be our practice. We care about your loved ones and the things you value the most. And as we welcome our new normal, one thing remains certain: we will always be here for you. We're open and ready to serve you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
We knew it was time to make these when we started asking things like, wouldn't it be nice to be able to get a warm cinnamon roll right now? And why can't this kind of muffin come from the same place as a McMuffin? And isn't your coffee lonely without company from a glazed apple fritter? Well, consider these our 3 resounding yeses. Meet the new bakery sweets at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hi, my name is Justine Chu.
Jim Pamplona.
Alexis Sablan. I'm Minami Kramer, and I'm a GTA youth leader.
Because of GTA, I was able to go to Interlaken, a summer music camp over the summer, and I'm very, very grateful for that opportunity.
It helped me pay for my college tuition with a scholarship.
Benefits, including a free phone and a year of free service.
If you're someone who wants to inspire others, help others, and become a better person, this is for you.
Become a GTA youth leader today.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
Welcome back. The evacuation of thousands of Americans and Afghan allies remains a big challenge for U.S. officials. While the Taliban reportedly says they'll allow people to get safely to Kabul's airport, U.S. citizens say that's not what they're experiencing. Deborah Alfarone reports.
President Biden returned to the White House from Camp David, declining to comment on the situation in Afghanistan. The State Department says it has communicated with the first group of Americans who need to evacuate the country.
Our team is working hand in glove with military colleagues to help load planes safely and securely and as fast as possible.
But several Americans tell CBS News it's been too unsafe to get to Kabul's airport. The White House says at least 11,000 Americans are in Afghanistan and want to come home.
We are in contact with the Taliban to ensure the safe passage of people to the airport.
A Taliban spokesman held the group's first news conference since taking over the country, trying to convince the world they will not oppress the people of Afghanistan as they did 20 years ago.
Members of Congress continue to criticize President Biden for the withdrawal of U.S. troops and the lack of a better plan to get Americans out.
To provide no transitional support for our Afghan partners. This is an unforced error.
Veterans are also struggling with the events of the past couple days.
What do? We gave them the country. We said, here's the key. Come on in, guys. Now that's really what we did. And the disaster is unfolding before us right now.
The Air Force is investigating Monday's incident when hundreds rushed a departing military jet on the tarmac, and at least 4 people were killed. The Pentagon expects more U.S. troops on the ground today and eventually one charter flight taking off every hour. Deborah Alfarone reporting for KUAM News.
The White House says 1,100 U.S. citizens, permanent residents, and their families were flown out today on 13 flights. 3,200 people have been evacuated so far. There has been no word on whether any evacuees will be flown to Guam. And with pandemic unemployment assistance ending on September 4th, Labor Director David De La Sola says the work search requirement may be causing a reduction in claims.
The biggest reduction is the work search, that the last 2 weeks of, or the first 2 weeks of work search was covered in this batch. So you're seeing a lot of people either having a hard time entering the work search, or deciding that it's not worth it, or they're just trying to still figure it out.
De La Sola adds that while the PUA has been a huge help to the island, we can't keep relying on it forever.
We got 10 million going out into the in our economy. It's kept us afloat. I mean, $874 million.
What a blessing.
In the last year and a half.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yep.
All that money went to the people and went into our economy and went into the business. So, we can't do this forever.
Again, PUA ends on September 4th. Another agency is looking to take action against a solar farm contractor believed responsible for destroying the pristine waters of Marbo Cave and also leaving surrounding properties a muddied mess. Daniel Perez reports.
The Guam Contractors License Board had to postpone its meeting this morning due to a lack of quorum. GCLB Executive Director Buddy Orsini says they were scheduled to discuss a pending notice of violation against the Manilao solar farm contractor Samsung. The company was already cited by Guam EPA for failing to implement its approved erosion and sediment control plan. As a result, surrounding private lands, include Marble Cave, suffered extensive environmental damage from storm runoff. Although GCLB investigators completed their investigation, they are still waiting for documents from the Department of Public Works and Guam EPA to determine how much in penalties will be issued.
We're going to go probably into a special session. Right now, we can't set a actually amount just yet. We did get the all information from the licensed contractor, which was a couple of days ago. However, there's some info, and we're considering all the other info from the using agencies that are involved in this project. So we have to be extra careful because we have to do our due diligence, right, to give a right assessment.
Orsini says they are waiting for permit information from DPW and Guam EPA. As we reported, the AG's office has filed suit against the contractors for the environmental damage in the area. Additionally, a team from US EPA is expected to arrive on island to conduct an inspection of the area. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Daniel Perez.
Guam's fourth and newest charter school looks forward to making a difference for the next generation by educating future leaders about career and technical skills. Career Tech High Academy Charter School kicked off its second school year this morning at its Hagat campus. KUAM's Isaiah Uggan reports.
Career Tech High Academy Charter School, or CTEC's mission, is to foster community-centered, culturally rooted identity, to equip the island's next skilled workforce, and to build a forum for upcoming leaders of Guam and the region. We caught up with the newly appointed principal, Dr. Juan Flores, who said that the school was developed to have students focus on career and technical education.
To prepare students for certification in job areas, provide them with an opportunity so they can get a job right after high school or go to college if they decide, but to have that option. So if a student goes through and takes courses in tech, that student will have some kind of national certification.
With Guam's skilled labor shortage, Flores says he hopes equipping future leaders through this learning institution will address that issue.
There is a need for engineering technicians, right? The folks who go out and help with surveying. What are we going to do to get students ready for that? Or environmental technicians to work with companies that are doing environmental studies. Those are some of the areas we might work on.
The home of the CHICS currently has 60 students enrolled so far for the year, with a capacity of 100 students. On the first day of classes, Dr. Flores shares that a mask mandate is in place as one of their many COVID-19 safety measures.
The first thing, obviously, is that when everybody checks in, they check in. We know that they're here. We take their temperature. They sanitize. These chairs will probably only fit a third of what we could fit in here because we spread everything out. That's true in the classrooms as well, that all the chairs in the classrooms will be spread out so that we make sure that we practice social distancing. We're going to encourage the students to wash their hands often, use sanitizers all the time, and wear a mask. Everybody will wear a mask all day.
Flores noted that 100% of the school's faculty and staff are fully vaccinated against the virus. For more information, you can visit their website at careertechguam.org. Reported for Guam's News Network, Wahusi Isaiah Uggan.
United Airlines has increased its Guam Saipan schedule to offer daily flights between the islands 2 more flights per week were added to accommodate the busy summer-fall travel season. The daily morning flight schedule began on August 1st and increases capacity as travel restrictions have recently eased. You can find the updated flight schedule on our website. And today's heavy downpour prompted the National Weather Service to issue a flash flood warning. The advisory is in effect until about 8:15 tonight, but could be extended if the heavy rains persist. 1 to 2 inches per hour is expected during thunderstorms. Additionally, heavy showers approaching from the southeast are expected to bring another 2 to 3 inches to parts of the island. Dave Delgado's next with sports. Don't go away.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
Summer is here, and at Cars Plus, we have the perfect Jeep for your summer adventures. Whether you're going off-road or just getting ready to hit the beach down south, make this the summer event you find your Jeep, like the 2021 Jeep Wrangler or the 2021 Jeep Gladiator. Equipped with Guam's only lifetime powertrain warranty. Call us at 477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to schedule a test drive today. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Half a day. As we look ahead to a brighter tomorrow, Matson's commitment to Guam and Micronesia remains stronger than ever. While the world around us is ever-changing, what remains unchanged is our commitment to you, our customers, and the island communities we serve. Shipping is what we do best, and serving our community is at the heart of everything we do. But we don't do it alone. This is why we support organizations that make caring for the people and the environment a top priority. We know that many count on Matson's lifeline services in the Pacific, and that's why we continue to work hard to ensure that our shipments remain on time all the time. Matson recently added another Aloha-class vessel to our schedule. We now have 2 of Matson's largest and fastest ships serving Guam from the U.S. West Coast and Hawaii. With our new state-of-the-art vessels, we stand ready to support the region's economic recovery. Thank you for the privilege of serving you for the last 25 years, and you can count on Matson to be here for the next 25 years and beyond.
From the minds that brought you Taco Bell's Fry Force comes another mouth-watering adventure, packed with seasoned beef, drizzled with spicy ranch, and covered with your favorite toppings. It's the new loaded taco fries, now serving at a Taco Bell near you.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together. After over a year of no organized youth soccer, the Robbie Weber Youth Soccer League will be kicking off on September 11th. A total of 16 club teams will be hitting the pitch this upcoming season. Over 1,500 kids are estimated to be suiting up for their respective clubs.
With the recent rise in numbers for positive cases, we still have to be vigilant, and we don't know if our season may or may not start because of this rise. Like they say, a pebble can change the course of a river. So we will try to stay our course, but hopefully this pebble doesn't change our course.
Participating clubs include ASC Trust Islanders, Bank of Guam Strikers, Community First, Days Inn Dedido Soccer Club, Guam Shipyard Wolverines, Quality Distributors, Napa Rovers FC, Sidekick SC, Southern Cobras, Southern Heat Tigers, Tumon Typhoons SC, Wings FC, Bombers SC, FC Barragata Crusaders, and MWR North and South.
I'm really excited to see all the kids' smiles and out there, all the coaches getting back out. Recently with Dedido and Wolverines, they're all having numbers. All their numbers are pretty picking up. Wings has already been starting their training, Islanders, and other clubs are soon to follow already.
All participating clubs in the upcoming Youth League were invited to pick up allotted sets of new soccer balls and training equipment made available by the GFA. The Guam Football Association received the new soccer balls for distribution to youth clubs from AFC as part of the AFC football scheme.
Of course, our health regulatory bodies has given us restrictions and how we can more safely run practices. So with that being said, GFA took it in part to give them all the necessary PPE equipment, sprays, sanitizers and whatnot. And we also even give them extra balls and bibs so they can actually have more time to spread out, and each kid has their own ball.
Sen Gill and GFA Competitions Administrator Ashley Bessigar have been providing tutorials for clubs and utilizing GFA's new online player registration system for all new and returning players and coaches.
It's just a community effort. We've worked with all the clubs, even through the pandemic, of how we can mitigate and how to come back to a return of play. We also discussed all the ingress and egress of how we're going to manage our match days. So with that being said, it took a community to get this thing going.
New to the season's Youth League will be a U15 all-girls division. Inquiries may be made directly with clubs regarding participation in the U15 all-girls division. Clubs have until August 27th to submit final team numbers. Age divisions are U6, U8, U10, 12, 14, 15, and U17.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
For the different beats of your life, we're here to keep you connected the way you want it. Plans made for you, by you. Build your own bundle with Link. Select the internet, entertainment, mobile, and home phone plans that fit your lifestyle. Pay for what you want, not for what you don't. Build your own bundle and save with Link.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Welcome back, everybody. Before we close out the news, here's Jason Solis with your birthday shout-out.
Happy birthday on this August 17th to Donald Torres. Happy birthday to our grandpa, coming from his grandkids and step-grandkids. Great job, guys. This comes from Christian, Anaya, Amia, Jacob, Ariana, Gabriel, Kian, Kaylee, Sage, Ava Rose, Keenan, Natalia, Natasha, and the Torres and Napati families. We hope, Mr. Torres, Donald, we hope that you enjoy your day. And you know what? From all of us here at KUAM and Cold Stone Creamery, Donald, we hope you have a fantastic birthday. Celebrate safe.